Alright, all you Streetlight Crusaders, and I guess a couple of you wrestling fans out there tonight, welcome back to the Tuesday Night Special. And now it's time for us to talk about what happened during this week's edition of Monday Night Raw from the Thunderdome in Orlando, Florida. And apparently, according to the Maestro, this week's Monday Night Raw was called Cyber Monday Night Raw. Oh, I forgot it was Cyber Monday. Oh, man, we could have came up with so many jokes for Under the Radar. Well, I guess better luck next year. But besides those potential jokes we're gonna have to save until next year's Cyber Monday, Monday Night Raw would kick off with a very special and weird episode of A Moment of Bliss. But before we get into that, folks, and since we were under pressure last week, we came up with a new move name for that weird move that Alexa Bliss did to Nikki Cross last week, and we decided to call it Child's Play. Mostly because she looks like a good guy doll now, and it's really creeping me out. And speaking of people who was creeped out but at the same time prepared for what could possibly happen, the Moment of Bliss guest for the night would be none other than the former WWE champion himself, Randy Orton, coming out and actually listening to Alexa Bliss saying, "You must be upset after that phenomenal upset that took place last week for your championship opportunity." And then would try to break down the differences and the similarities to him and The Fiend, and would say that the difference between me and The Fiend is the fact that I hide my pain and suffering in my gut to try to blend in with everybody else, but on the other hand, The Fiend decides to wear it out in the open for everybody to see. And would also go back to the point that he had to make a choice heading into that year's WrestleMania of WrestleMania 33 to find Bray Wyatt's weakness and then take away what he loved the most to get what he wanted. And only this time, he would have to try to find out the weakness of The Fiend, only for him to realize that his weakness would be none other than Miss Bliss herself. Only for Alexa Bliss to say, "Oh, that's what the voices are telling you? Maybe we're just trying to set you up and manipulate you." So who is manipulating who? Only for the lights to flicker off, for Randy Orton to say, "See what I mean?" For Alexa Bliss to counter that "see what I mean" with a "see what I mean" of my own. And then for the lights to go red, and for The Fiend to show up, for Randy Orton to hold on to Alexa Bliss, for The Fiend to ask for Alexa, and then for Randy Orton to give Alexa away to The Fiend, and for Randy Orton to go up the ramp to say, "Who's laughing now? Who's laughing now?" Well, I got a feeling over the next couple of weeks, it might not be Randy Orton. Let's just say that much. And with that opening of Monday Night Raw out of the way, folks, the first match to take place on Raw for this week would see none other than Jeff Hardy going one-on-one against Elias in a Megadeth Presents edition of the Symphony of Destruction. Well, this is AC December, folks, so expect a lot of heavy metal music during this month, and definitely some heavy metal moments that take place during this match, because not only you would see Elias pulling off a nasty tiger knee to the face of Jeff Hardy to avoid getting hit in the face with a violin, but you would also see Elias pulling out a guitar to smack Jeff Hardy in the spine to avoid a whisper in the wind. But ultimately, that guitar-like plan would come back to haunt Elias when he would try to stab Jeff Hardy with that guitar and would stab an amp, only for Jeff Hardy to come back during this match with probably one of the most nastiest moves of the night by actually stacking Elias on a table, putting a whole bunch of violins, ukuleles, and what have you on his chest on the top of a table, and would do a death-defying swanton bomb, landing on Elias through the table, and at the same time hitting the back of his head on the bottom step of the steel stairs to win this match, and hopefully end this rivalry once and for all via pinfall. Now, let's go back to the moment where Jeff Hardy decided to swanton bomb and land on those stairs, almost like Doobly Peter Criss during Celebrity Deathmatch. Now, the fact that after the match was over, he was still able to pick up a tambourine and still celebrate with all of his body parts still moving, thank goodness he didn't get severely hurt during that match, because that was a nasty fall and hit on those stairs. Jeez. And the next match with a lot of hard-hitting action as well would feature none other than Slapjack going one-on-one against the one and only himself, Ricochet. And during this match, with constant distractions from Mustafa Ali at ringside, Ricochet would still try to bring the high-flying offense with a standing shooting star press for a near fall, but ultimately would get distracted by more members of Retribution along the lines of Mace and T-Bar, who would come to the aid of Slapjack, giving him enough of a distraction after Ricochet would try to do a triangular drop kick out of the corner and would even try to take out T-Bar with a good old-fashioned high-hitting hit, only for him to get hit with a modified version of a Saito suplex for Slapjack to win this match via pinfall. But during all of this chaos, folks, you would see Dana Brooke getting a little bit of revenge on Mustafa Ali for calling out Reckoning last week and costing her opportunity to fight at the Survivor Series by slapping the ever-living daylights out of Mustafa Ali for the next match, even though it's out of order, to take place on Monday Night Raw, which would see none other than Dana Brooke going one-on-one against Retribution's own Reckoning, which looks strangely like Mia Yim from NXT. And the reason why we say that, folks, is because Reckoning's mask during this match would come off. And so would the gloves of Dana Brooke by trying to beat the brakes off her during this match to get revenge for what happened prior to the Survivor Series, like we mentioned once before. And would be able to do so by not only tackling her to the ground, punching her in the face, and avoiding several different Yakuza kicks from none other than Mia Yim during this match, or Reckoning, one of the members of the Foot Clan, and would end up getting one over on none other than Reckoning during this match, thanks to Mustafa Ali providing a little bit of a distraction for Dana Brooke to take advantage of one of the missed kicks of Reckoning, for her to roll up Reckoning, and for Reckoning to get a little bit of Reckoning of her own by Dana Brooke winning this match via pinfall. Only for Mustafa Ali to get upset, then for him to say there is no failure in Retribution, despite the fact of them losing to the Hurt Business on several different occasions. Yeah, no failure in Retribution? I wouldn't say that. I really wouldn't. And back to our regularly scheduled programming, folks, because the next actual match to take place on Monday Night Raw would see none other than Asuka and Lana going one-on-one against Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler in a non-title match. Now, during this match, Lana, who went from a shivering leaf who got put through a table on 9 separate occasions in under 2 months, would slowly but surely start to regain her confidence back during this match, and would even be able to take it to Shayna Baszler and even Nia Jax. But at the same time, Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax would try to beat the ever-living daylights flag tag out of both Asuka and Lana by not only doing pendulum swings into the barricade, in tandem order I may add, but would also see Nia Jax almost getting counted out to beat the living hell out of Lana by almost sending her into the post, only for Lana to reverse it, and even would elbow Lana in the face, and would see Shayna Baszler trying to go after the ankle of Lana during this match, trying to take her out for good. But would that work during this match? Nope. And it's all thanks to Asuka, because despite Lana getting put in a Karafuda clutch, you would see Asuka from out of nowhere with a nasty low basement-like kick to the face of Shayna Baszler for Lana to take advantage of the situation and to get the 3-count victory on Shayna Baszler, embarrassing the tag team champions 2 weeks in a row via pinfall. So once again, folks, like I said before, I got a feeling this is gonna lead to a tables match for the women's tag team championships at TLC. Mark my words, folks, mark my words. And the next match to take place on Monday Night Raw would see none other than Cedric Alexander going one-on-one against the New Day's own Xavier Woods. And prior to this match, Xavier Woods would try to celebrate his announcement of becoming the new host of the revived G4 channel, and would then say thank you to everybody who watched Up Up Down Down videos, or even being involved in Up Up Down Down in any way, shape, or form, only for his dreams to get turned into an absolute nightmare thanks to Cedric Alexander saying that last week was a fluke, and then he was gonna turn his dreams into a nightmare by attacking him from behind. Yeah, real classy move, only for Xavier Woods to come back during this match and try to beat the brakes off of Cedric Alexander during this match with a very impressive crescent kick, and would also even do a Mark Henry slip and slide move on the ropes. And for those who've never seen it before, it's more or less somebody just going on the outside of the ring, sliding on the back of somebody's neck, which looks absolutely painful, and would even follow that up with a nasty honor roll for a near fall. But ultimately, this match will come to an end again after some nasty kicks to the spine of Xavier Woods from Cedric Alexander, leading to Cedric Alexander trying to do a suicide dive for Xavier Woods to counter it at the last minute, but only for him to get back in the ring and suffer the wrath of the lumbar check for Xavier Woods to get pinned by Cedric Alexander in the center of the ring via pinfall. I would have said with a 3-count victory, but either way, no matter how you slice it, the Hurt Business getting one over on the New Day. Will this lead to a tag team championship match once again? Yes. And to quote what Xavier Woods said, where's the other tag teams? Where are the other tag teams? I don't know. And the next match to take place on Monday Night Raw would see a triple threat sudden death match between none other than the phenomenal one AJ Styles, the limitless Keith Lee, and of course the ultimate bro himself Matt Riddle for the WWE Championship opportunity at tables, ladders, and chairs. And during this match, or should I say before it, none other than the Ultimate Bro would try to ease the tension of this triple threat match by not only saying a couple of funny comments to Bro Lee about Austin Powers and about the fact that he wanted none other than Drew McIntyre to say, "I'm dead sexy," to quote a certain character from one of the movies, and then would go to AJ Styles and tell him that his bunny skipper was just like him, that he got mad hops, he's furry, and he looks kinda cute. Only to make things a little bit worse going into the match, but at the same time, with everybody who thought that Matt Riddle wasn't serious during this set contest would be proven wrong, because not only he would be able to bring a lot of heavy kicks and a couple of pump tiger knees to the face of his opponents, but he would also be able to do a springboard Asai moonsault, corkscrew style, to both the phenomenal one AJ Styles and even to Keith Lee, and would even try to take out his opponents with multiple brotons, only for AJ Styles to counter one of them by putting his legs up and sending the Ultimate Bro flying into the air. But that wouldn't compare to the moment where he would try to take out AJ Styles and Keith Lee at the same time, only for Keith Lee to come back with a nasty pounce, knocking him out of his shoes if he had them during this set contest. But ultimately, this match will come to an end again after the Ultimate Bro would try to do a multiple amount of final flashes, or what we like to call around here, Tiger knees to the face of one Keith Lee, only for him to look up in the sky for the bird, the plane, nay, the phenomenal one AJ Styles with a phenomenal forearm, cashing in his chance to become #1 contender for the WWE Championship at TLC via pinfall. And not to mention getting a chance to celebrate afterwards, only for a disheartened Ultimate Bro to run into none other than MVP backstage, for MVP to get a little bit of trash talk again, saying that your opportunity went up in sudden death, only for Matt Riddle to say, well, at least I didn't cost my client a chance at the championship, only for him to pitch some more ideas to MVP, saying that lawn bros, man, would be great because they'll help you take out all your weeds out of your yard. You'll be absolutely weedless, man. And my next idea, if they get the munchies, don't worry, we got another idea. We'll partner up with Dunkin' Donuts to make bro nuts. Only for MVP to say that your ideas are stupid, I'm glad you lost, and you don't deserve to be WWE champion, only to mush him in the face and for Bobby Lashley to apply the Hurt Lock for most likely a chance for Matt Riddle to go for that United States Championship in the near future. Which I got a feeling it's gonna be a very, and I do mean very exciting match between those two. And the next match to take place on Monday Night Raw would be the main event of the evening, which would see none other than Drew McIntyre and Sheamus working together to fight against The Miz and John Morrison. Now, prior to this match, folks, you would see The Miz and Morrison trying to stir the pot between Drew McIntyre and Sheamus, calling what Sheamus did a couple of weeks ago prior to the WWE Championship match that Drew McIntyre had against Randy Orton silly because he got nothing in return, and would even go as far as try to stir the pot to the point that he would help out The Miz to cash in his Money in the Bank briefcase for him to get a shot at the WWE Championship, only for Sheamus to laugh and say that was funny, only for The Miz to say your career and your championship title run that you had prior was funny as well. And then to make matters worse, Sheamus would say that's the difference between me and you. You run your mouth about things. I like using my fists, only to throw a microphone in the face of Morrison, punch Miz in the face, try to beat the crap out of the both of them, only for The Miz to get the last laugh with a briefcase shot to the spine, not once, not twice, but on 3 separate occasions. But would they be laughing during this main event? I mean, think about that. No, because during this match, Sheamus would beat the living daylights flag tag out of both Miz and Morrison, hitting them both with 10 beats of the Baldwin harder than the last person that got hit with it. And I do believe the person who got the worst out of it had to have been the Miz. But to make matters worse for the best tag team of this generation, as they would call themselves, once McIntyre would tag himself in, he would toss them around like a sack of potatoes with belly-to-belly suplexes and corresponding corners, and causing them to fly from one side of the ring to the next. And that's frightening with the strength of McIntyre. And just when it looked like McIntyre was about to tag in that bro-kicking hooligan to finish off The Miz, unfortunately Morrison would throw him into the Thunderdome universe, only for the phenomenal one AJ Styles, who was at commentary, to make his presence known by hitting the WWE Champion with a phenomenal forearm, for this match to end in favor of Drew McIntyre and Sheamus via disqualification. But The Miz and Morrison didn't care, or should I say, the phenomenal AJ Styles and Morrison didn't care, because they would try to lay up a cash in to The Miz, who would say, "What are you doing? We were gonna win that match, what's wrong with you?" Only for almost to take the briefcase, bring it inside the ring, and try to help The Miz cash in, only for The Miz to say, "Hey, I'll cash in when I want to," only for AJ Styles to try to knock some sense into him by telling him, "Hey, you can cash in right now and win the championship." But despite the phenomenal forearm, Starship Pain by Morrison, and even the skull-crushing finale by The Miz, next thing you know, the Scottish Terminator would get up, see his next target in his sight in the form of The Miz, and hit him with a nasty claymore, taking him out, and just before he was about to go for the Phenomenal One, almost would come into the ring and take out the Phenomenal One, carrying him away for AJ Styles to talk trash all the way up the ramp for McIntyre to say, "Come on, keep trying to piss me off. I don't care about Jackass and the Beanstalk over there. You're gonna get it." For Monday Night Raw to go out with a fairy tale-like ending for this week. Jackass and the Beanstalk, that was a good one. And I guess with that said, folks, we might as well head back into the music, and when we return, we'll be back with more of the Tuesday Night Special right after this. So don't go anywhere just yet, folks, and stay tuned.